All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Harakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. And greetings, salutations, and blessings, and much love unto the elect out there. Shalom unto you. Lord willing, this is edifying unto you. I got an article here from Blacklisted News. Digital ID tyranny is being rolled out across the world. We've been saying it, man. The prophets have been telling you that this digital way of life was coming, man. You know, this digital tyranny was coming, man. It was written right here in the Bible, in Revelation the 13th chapter, showing you that these things were to come. And now we're seeing it being coming into focus, if you will. Okay? So I'm going to read the article, but first I'm going to grab a definition. Bear with me.
What's the definition of tyranny? Cruel and oppressive government or rule.
Okay? That in a nutshell. Another, there's a bunch of similar synonyms, but it also says a nation under cruel and oppressive government, cruel, unreasonable, and arbitrary use of power or control. Let's see if there's more. Especially in ancient Greece, which we know these Greeks became the Romans, became the rebirth of the Romans, which is in the society we're into now with this Western society. Okay, the same countries that were ruled in ancient times are under the powers of NATO now. All right, and they're still trying to control the entire world. Okay, it says let's see, Tyrannus, Tyrannia, tyrant, tyranny. Yep. See where tyrant. Okay. Blah blah blah. All right. Authoritarianism, high-handedness, enslavement is another word. Oppression, totalitarian, reign of terror, undemocratic rule, absolute power. Okay, dictatorship. All right, some of the words showing you that this man Esau is really trying to rule the world. Okay, because that's starting with the Greeks when they came into power. That's who was the man that was at the forefront of the Greeks. Okay, was when the Greeks became or should I say the Edomites became Greeks. All right, because they ruled the ancient Greeks and scattered them out, and they became the Greeks. Okay, then they became the Romans. Then the Romans went down, roughly for 1,000 years, and they came back through the Renaissance period. Okay, and now they built up the Western Europe all the way over to America. Okay, and the Bible highlights all that. But this basically is showing you the tyranny of rule that they're trying to control the whole earth with, and they couldn't get it directly physically by going into these countries. So now they're going to try to do it digitally. Okay, and they're trying to, and it's under the guise of their new world order. All right, so let me go back into the article. It says, and you can even start up here. Matter of fact, I'll start up here and then I'll read when we get to the good part. It says, this is how you know. I'll start up here. Verse 11, Revelation 13:11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, a two-party system, okay, on the same animal. Okay, he tried the physical way, now he's trying the digital way, okay, to rule the world. And really he want that fantasy, if you will, of ruling the whole world came because he believed he was supposed to get the birthright. All right, pursuing the Genesis, the 27th chapter, and even before that, the 25th chapter. All right. If you know those chapters, it didn't go that way. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon with his draconian measures, which draconian is pretty much another way of saying tyranny. Okay, because he's gonna come down with these tyrannical measures to control the people. It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which they tried the tyranny role when you go back into the Greeks and the Romans. Okay, particularly in the Maccabees, it speaks about the tyranny that the Greeks were under. All right, it says, and then the history of the Romans shows you the tyranny that the Romans were under, which were all Edomites. Okay, which both of those civilizations were ruled by Edomites, shall I say? All right. Anyway, it says, and called it the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed when they came back into power under the Roman Empire, the rebirth of the Roman Empire. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And the whole world watched as they dropped bombs on Japan. Okay, and they've been dropping bombs throughout the earth. Okay, which was why the different NATO and I forgot the other name of the one that the Soviets was it the BRICS? I forgive me, for not knowing. If you know, please put it in the comments and check the comments and see if someone puts it. If I come across it, I'll put it, Lord willing. Anyway, it says so that put the world on notice, okay, that they were a superpower on the earth. All right, so and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. And that image is a way of life, okay, which is that digital way of life, okay, which had the deadly wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Okay, the technology is what gave power to the image of the beast. Okay, that made it a real living society. Okay, it says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, so we're gonna stop there, and then we're gonna go into this. And as I've heard in different videos, brothers tell you they don't have to directly just outright kill you. Put you in front of a firing squad and kill you. They kill you by starving you out of the system, out of the image. Okay? And when we get further down, it goes into that. Okay? So it says new biometrics identity credentials have been proposed and launched around the world as government digital identity schemes continue to roll out. Okay? How did that come into play? That's your social media platforms, your Metas, your Facebooks, those things of those natures. Okay, you get online, your LinkedIn's. Okay, you get into those, and now you can't be within the system unless you're within that branch of the system. Okay. Anyway, it says previously, we wrote about the program MasterCard launched for retailers to use biometric payment methods like facial recognition and fingerprint scanning. As of May, and the brothers have been speaking about that. It says the program had already gone live in 5 grocery stores in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with more trials planned for Asia and the Middle East. MasterCard said it planned to roll it out globally later this year. But it's not only private companies dictating we use the technology they'll use to track, trace, and control us from Australia to the Maldives to Uganda. Governments are rolling out the WEF/UN digital IDs to usher in a global digitized police state. Okay, and we told you, hey man, when they were doing all these 5G towers and facial recognition software with these cameras and everything while the lockdown was going on, okay, and they had you, they forced you to put the masks on and all of that, okay. All these things were being set in motion and in place. They're not just doing these things for no reason. These are setting up the next stages into this society, because what the thing that they don't want to happen is just for the people that they want to keep around to just go rogue and be like, man, I'm starting to hear this and not gradually be acclimated into this system or into this image. Okay, that they'll just quit. Like, I don't want to do this. Okay, I don't want to do this, so just kill me, type thing. Some of those people they do want around. Okay, but there are a lot of you Jakes, you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. They don't want you. Okay, you're just useless eater or goyim, cattle. Okay, that they're willing to just get rid of you. Good for nothing. Okay, continuing on, it says, let me see. Yeah, Australia. A state which will police every aspect of our lives. They've already begun online. Your online life is already being watched and being policed. Okay? If you don't know that you have, we know these phones have cameras, and great cameras and microphones. Okay, and omit sound that they can use sonar to map out areas. Okay, and these TVs do the same thing. Okay, computers do the same thing. Okay, it says Australia to actively explore a national digital ID system. Australia's digital and data ministries from the federal government, Commonwealth, and 6 states and territories agreed to actively explore a national digital identification system. Over the past 6 years, the government has spent about $140 million on the digital identification system, but has been delayed by a lack of legislation to expand the system into territories, states, and the private sector. All right. And read more on that on Reclaim the Net, the 4th of April, 2022. It says Australia's trusted digital identity bill, let's go into that real quick. Lord, we can just go back. They want me to do all this. Let me read first. Hell no. Anyway, it says Australia to actively explore a national digital identity. Yep. Okay, if you're tired of censorship, cancel culture, and the erosion of civil liberties, subscribe to Reclaim the Net. All right, now think about it. Just as easily as they cancel you on the internet, they'll cancel you in society. Nosedive, I believe, is the name of the episode on Black Mirror that shows you a couple and this lady in the show was with the system. A couple missteps in the system, and everything went to shit, man, for her. Okay, it can happen just that simply, and it's all set up by the government to do that. But then it's also set up to where the people get to judge it. But then you get the messages and the impulses that lead you to what you should believe in. That's why when you notice people that don't read news outside of the Americas, outside of mainstream media, they kind of have this same cattle herd mentality. All right, so they'll cancel. Oh, Dave Chappelle said this, counseling. Yeah, well, it is rude that he said that, and they'll find the angle, and just to get that agenda pushed, man. That just using him as an example, but that happens all over, and we know they're gonna come for the profits with that same type of agenda. Okay, because we're not with this system. Because when we get down into Revelation, it's gonna show you. I'm gonna just go back though. See if they'll let me just go straight back. Yep. You can read into that. Okay, anyway, it says, while Australia lacks, get rid of that. Australia lacks the corresponding technological infrastructure to utilize a digital identity to its sinister potential, such as China spying streetlights and billboards. This bill, whether intentional or accidental, which I don't believe in accidents, acts as the foundation for the China-style social credit system, wrote Senator Malcolm Roberts. Personally, I don't believe in coincidence or accidental. I think people write these things specifically. That's what their job is, to write up legislation and to to leave certain parameters and doors open, and certain things they cut off on purpose to fulfill their agenda. All right. In February, Senator Roberts warned Australians about the trusted, quote, digital identity bill in a short video. The so-called trusted digital identity bill represents a watershed moment in Australian history. We stand at the divide between a free personal enterprise future and a digital surveillance age, he said. And that's the video there. See if we can play a little bit of it. See what happens.
Let's be blunt.
How long is this video? A minute and a half. We'll roll with that.
Let's be blunt. The so-called trusted digital identity bill represents a watershed moment in Australian history.
By the way, to YouTube and you guys that are watching YouTube or whatever, that give strikes and all of that. Hey, this is on YouTube right now. Okay, so don't strike me for playing this video.
We stand at the divide between a free personal enterprise future and a digital surveillance age. If nothing is done to stop this bill, government will sit in the middle of every interaction Australians have with each other and with the world. And it achieves this in the same way China does, by creating a digital identity that forms a central part of a person's life. You can call it a license to live. What began with COVID contact tracing, vaccine passports, and QR check-ins will soon be formalized by an inescapable digital identity. It signals the complete end of consumer privacy, the end of citizen anonymity, and the beginning of a big brother digital age that treats the people of Australia as products rather
than free human beings. Now, I have to go back to this big brother statement. Okay, when I first heard this, I believe it was one of the elders that said it, elder bishops out of New York and Connecticut that said it. They said, I forget, when, but it equated big brother to the big brother of Jacob, which is Esau. Okay, and you see, that's who they're mainly big brother is watching is his younger brother Jacob, because he knows if he wakes up out of this spiritual coma, if you will, he'll become the next ruler of the world. All right, on his watch. And so it's the same type of scenario. Esau trying to prevent Jacob from being the rightful ruler of the world under the eyes of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahushai, and becoming his own sort of a ruler through the digital technologies rather than the blessing of the Lord. All right, so back in it, I digress.
Other than free human beings. The government intends to build a complete digital record of every Australian to be shared and used. Our medical history, our shopping preferences, who we associate with, whether our choices are really so-called green, social security.
Yeah, that's heavy. Okay, these ideas and these levels that this man is speaking about showed you that he's watching it on every level. Okay, he wants to control every level, even down to your thought and your spirit, down to the point where you even brought out about pre-crime. They want to persecute people before the crime, meaning if you accidentally, if your pocket, the phone opened up in your pocket and clicked on something, and then it clicked on a link to something, then it clicked, things are just happening in your pocket, and you never intentionally clicked on those things, they can now trace that back to demonize you. Okay? Because you clicked on it, your IP address is linked right to it. All right? That's the type of control and the power that they'll have over the people. All right? Continuing.
Security, veteran services, travel records, website viewing, employment status, and social media comments. Everything will go on the record and be available to any large corporation that can pay for access.
Wow.
All of this orchestrated by a federal liberal nationals government who proudly but distortingly call it a human-centric digital identity.
Wow, there it is.
Enterprise future.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Senator, anyway, it says Malcolm Roberts' trusted digital Identity Bill locks in COVID controls February the 1st, 2022. All right. Yep. This is a quote, okay. Senator Roberts said in a parliament speech last month, he said, instead of working together to push Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum plan based on United Nations policies, work together instead for our country. Klaus Schwab's life by subscription, quote, is really serfdom. It's slavery. Billionaire globalist corporations will own everything: homes, factories, farms, cars, furniture, and everyday citizens will rent what they need if their social credit score allows. Okay, regardless how hard you work, your social credit score will be what it is if you're not working toward what they want. If you can build a house and life out of sand, they're not going to allow it. You're going to have to rent the sand. Okay, he made a quote that said, they will, or was Noel, Yuval Noah Harari, one of them, which is his right hand man. He said, you will own nothing and you will love us for it, and you'll love it. All right. Anyway, it says the plan of the Great Reset is that you will die with, there you go, with nothing. To pull off this evil plan, Klaus Schwab, his World Economic Forum, will need to take more than just material possessions from Australians. Senators in this very chamber today who support the Great Reset threaten our privacy, freedom, and dignity. Yes, they're in the same in this Senate chamber. One nation vehemently opposed the Great Reset, the Digital Identity Bill, theft of agricultural land use, forcing farmers off their land, and all of the Great Reset. Okay? One Nation Plan for a Better Australia, speech in the Australian Parliament, 27th of July, 2022. All right? Australia explores digital ID options. Now, this just goes into what they're trying to do, but as I allowed the video to highlight, you can go in here and see where they're spending the money, to see how they're going to do it, and all of those details. The Dutch bank CEO proposes turning carbon usage into a tokenized commodity. See? So now they're going to charge you for your carbon footprint. Okay, for whatever you're into. If you do something that emits carbon into the atmosphere, they're gonna tax you for that, and that's gonna come off your social credit score. This is you can see how they're gonna make something out of nothing. Okay, because every life on the planet needs carbon footprinting, and guess what? They've destroyed all of these food processing plants. So to get certain foods processed, what needs to happen? You gotta emit some carbon. All right, with the way the world's set up today. All right, that has to happen. Look, we've been talking about the Agenda 2030, SDG, are what is behind the push to bar farmers from utilizing nitrogen fertilizers and serve as the root of the conflict between Dutch farmers and the government. Okay, they have all this on here, man. Greece rolling out digital identification program. Okay, showing you that this. Look, Orwellian, here's the word right there. They're showing you what's going on. All right. So it continues to say just a little bit more. I'm not going to read everything in there, but it's just showing you all the different avenues or elements and components of how they're putting this whole thing together. Look, down here, but skeptics have cast doubt, this paragraph here. Matter of fact, I'll start. Meanwhile, the EU says that unlike China's social credit system, its digital identity platform will only be voluntary. Yeah, right. But skeptics have cast doubts, particularly following the implementation of the CV-19 passport, which sparked violent protests across Europe. The passport has initially been lobbied as a voluntary and temporary solution to enable safe cross-border travel amid the pandemic. Now it's a mandatory tool that EU officials are mulling to extend further. Okay, you can't just go where you want. They want to track and control everything. And if you don't have the social credit score, they can cut you off of that side of the going into that room or that country or that state or that store or whatever else. All right. I'll wrap it up with this and read the rest of the Revelation 13, 16 verse. It says, quote, before it says, members of the EU Parliament, Rob Roos and Rob Rukin, explain how the so-called EU digital identity wallet works. And this is their video there. It's 2 minutes. I'll let it play. It is on YouTube, so.
Welkom, meneer Roos, meneer Roken. Dit jaar nog lanceert de EU de digitale identiteit.
No. I don't know if they're going to use English or not.
Wat houdt het in en hoe gaat dit leven?
Kan het vergelijken met cookies op internet.
Yeah, for you that can read it or speak those languages, I'll just read it in English. This is what governments and big corporations will do. They will ask for more information than they are currently allowed to. This hollows out our privacy and makes citizens powerless against the government and big corporations, end quote. Okay. Yeah, talking about a Trojan horse. And the Trojan horse, let me Google it for you so I don't get it wrong. I know what it is. All right, Trojan horse definition goes back to Troy. Anyway, it says a hollow wooden statue of a horse in which the Greeks concealed themselves in order to enter Troy. Okay. A person or thing intended secretly to undermine or bring about the downfall of an enemy or opponent, in which that opponent is you. Okay? They're trying to set this thing up so they can rule forever, man. Okay? It says a program designed to breach the security of a computer system while ostensibly performing some innocuous function. Okay? Big words. Innocuous, not harmful or offensive. It poses that way. Okay? But it's meant to breach the security system. Yeah, man. All right. Okay. And that's what they use. When you know the story of Helen of Troy, that's when they were fighting over that they used that to get in there. And then the soldiers all came out and took the city down, from what I remember. I'm trying to think of the name of the book that was in a mythological book or whatever. Anyway, so let's go back. Read the scripture. Revelation chapter 13. I'll start back at 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And that article highlights the different ways that they're giving life unto it. They told you about the China's social credit score. Told you about the digital ID. They told you about the passport. Okay, all these different things. How everything has a QR code or has a barcode. Okay, all these things. The carbon emission. They tell you how all this will be put together into one big ball of control that they are at the helm of. Okay? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast, would not be in the system, should be killed. Now there'll be some on these certain lists, red, yellow, black, blue, or whatever the colors of the list are, that that'll be just straight persecuted, okay, under a guillotine or some other form of torture and death or whatever, okay, but beheaded somehow, okay, all right. It says, and he calleth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, he has to make this digital a part of the human body, and that's what they've been working towards, and that's what some people have injected into their body something that will help that assimilation process of going from biological to digital more seamless. All right. That's why you see all this transhuman and movies and stuff about, adding this digital to your phone makes you this, and adding this to your body makes you that. And, you see all these different things, man, going on in society. All right. And it's not just in the movies. There's so much of it in movies and TV and commercials, even down to these superhero movies. Okay. They're going to employ that as the types of powers that you can have by getting into this image of this system. All right. Anyway, it says, and that here's that part where it really becomes tyrannical, and that no man might buy or sell. If you can't buy anything, how are you supposed to have anything? If you can't sell anything, how are you supposed to earn the money to buy anything? Okay, there's nothing you can't trade. They're gonna cut all of that off. The DVD hustle man, which I'm joking about bringing that up, but the DVD hustle man, he's out of there. The thief that steals watches, he's out of there. The man that makes crafts, he's out of there. The lady that makes garments and beads or whatever she does, she's out of there. The natural products that Jake just sells, that's out of there. If that's not something deemed the government can see as useful and can help their plan of their NWO, then hey man, they can get rid of it as see fit. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, unless you had that mark, right? Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And the word there for mark is charagma. All right? And we should all know what the word charagma means. Okay, and impaling or a stake put in the skin. I think then you go down into the 6 numbers, stigma. But yeah, all of those basically showing you that this man has to put it in you to track you. Just like he puts a UPC code on his products, he's going to put one inside your body on you. Okay, so this is what's going down, man. All right, we've been talking about this for years. Whether the people want to believe it or not, this is coming down, and we're going to have to deal with this. This is the hour of temptation. Okay, and just to end on a positive note, I'll go down to the 3rd chapter, 10th verse or so. Yep. For those that truly fear the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, it says, verse 10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. He's going to keep his elect from that, man, from taking that mark, from assimilating into that system. Okay? They're not going to be able to buy or sell, but we're still going to be all right. By somehow, some miracle, through the Spirit, man. And you got to truly believe that and move in the earth like you truly do believe that. All right? So I'm going to close right there, giving all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakach Wadash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, and blessings unto you men and women out there who have changed your lives towards righteousness, that you may earn your salvation in these last dark and deadly days. Unto you I say, Shalom.